Welcome to Let's Talk To podcast, hosted by author Sharnel Williams. Are you ready to spend some time with Sharnel and her special guest? Join our live conversation every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, here's your host, Sharnel Williams.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I want to thank everybody for joining. As you can see, this is for authors only. We're going to talk to several authors. I'm going to ask y'all some questions too, if y'all don't mind. We're going to talk to couple authors, and we're going to just ask questions. And if y'all want to comment in the comments, y'all can comment. If they see your comment, I don't know if y'all can see the comments or not. I can see the comments. I don't know if y'all can see the comments, unless y'all on Facebook or something. Then y'all be able to see the comments. But if y'all see your name pop up or whatever, I can repeat the comments to y'all. If y'all would like to answer the question, y'all can answer the question. If y'all don't have to answer. It's not mandatory that y'all answer the question. But we're going to get started for Shaquana. Hi, Shaquana. Thank you for joining Let's Talk To podcast.
Hi, I am author Shaquana Jackson. I am the author and I am the CEO of my own publishing company called Sophisticated Real Life Publications. I currently hold a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in business administration. So I publish Christian books. I also publish children's books, and I publish fiction books as well. And also, I am the CEO of my Christian clothing brand, God Paved Ways, where I sell hoodies, t-shirts, Christian books, and Christian trinkets. And I'm also a mother of one.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations, Dee.
Wonderful. Hi, everybody. My name is Dee Savoie, and I have published both fiction and nonfiction. I published fiction a few moons ago as Deirdre Savoy, and I had a great time publishing with BET and Harlequin and whatever. And now I'm doing a lot of nonfiction publishing with my own publishing company, which is The Radiant Boom. And our three books are I Am Enough, Embracing Authenticity, Through the Fire, and now we're going to have coming out in October, I'm Every Woman. And these are compilation books from other women and myself talking about various topics that are meant to empower women and to get them to move forward in their lives in the way that they wish to. So I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Sharnel, for inviting me. And also to the other ladies who are here. I don't know them yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to know more about them.
Thank you. Now next is Nanette.
Hi, my name is Nanette Buchanan. I am an author. Thank you, Sharnel, for the invitation. My business has grown over the years. I started in 2007 publishing books after some deep thought into what one's reality is often someone else's fiction. So I decided to take that on the task of writing and publishing fiction novels. And then I went from fiction to, hey, how about the children? The children have some things. So I went from fiction to children books. And then I had a bout with cancer. So I decided to do something about self-wellness. So I have novels, I have children books, and I have self-help books. But again, in all of it, somebody's reality is another person's fictional thoughts. So I think that carries all of us as authors. And I'm glad to be here to have the discussion. And again, thank you, Sharnel, for inviting me.
You're welcome. I just want to shout all of us out because all us publishing company, we do books, we help people. So we got to clap for ourselves. We got to clap for ourselves. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I just want everybody to get to know each other. It's all about networking with us. And Nana, you have your own podcast.
Yes, I do. I have my own podcast. My podcast is every Monday at 6:30. I do authors, I do entrepreneurs, I do people that are out in the community. I do just about everyone because I believe that even as authors, if we don't have someone to network with,
Mm.
we can't put our information out, be it fiction, be it
Mhm.
self-help, be it journals. We can't do anything if we don't make connections. So every Monday I invite people to come on. The podcast is open to everyone, and we go from there. I also have a magazine, and those that have been on the podcast have an opportunity to be a part of the magazine, which comes out quarterly. And just because Sharnel mentioned it, this year I decided to open it up to youth. I'm looking for anyone to give me a story about some youngster, young adult that is now excelled before they get ready to go into college or trade school or business. Let's give them some kudos. So for the summer, I'm doing a youth, hey, uplift the youth, because a lot of times they don't get a pat on the back unless it's the coach or unless it's the mother who's taking them to it. So for them to get an
Yeah.
outside look where somebody can say, hey, clap it up, you're doing your best. I'm asking
Mhm.
parents and anybody to submit their articles as well. So yeah, that's what I do.
And then that, kind of strange this is because I was talking to a friend of mine. My woman's empowerment just came in May. And I was talking to
Mhm.
a friend of mine and I was saying to her, and I hope she come on so she can verify. I was saying to her, I want to give an award to a youth.
Right,
I want to
right.
Mhm.
go to the schools to talk to some of the teachers to see who is their best student. You understand what I'm
And not
saying? In
only
class,
that,
honorees.
what I found out in looking for the youth, just putting the flyer up, I've got
Mm-hmm.
parents that are excited about what their children are doing.
Yeah.
I've got coaches that are excited about what their sports members are doing. I've got teachers that are excited about who excelled that was struggling in the beginning of the year. So I think that it doesn't have to just come from one area. If you
Right.
recognize a youth that's excelling, let's celebrate them so that they
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's what they need to know. They need to know that there's someone, and then the audience that reads the magazine can also have a way to, lift them up in
Mhm.
prayer, lift them up
And
in any way.
and that is so true because last year at my woman's empowerment, I honored my grandson with an award. And he
Mhm.
was shocked because he didn't see it coming. And like
Mhm.
Mhm.
how he was shocked and stuff, I want to shock another youth. I want to do this for,
Exactly.
a couple of youth like next year with my woman's empowerment. I want,
Mhm.
them to be shocked. I want to be so shocked like they start crying, like happy
Mhm.
joy. You understand what I'm saying? And it was too late for me to do it this year because I didn't think about it for like 2 days before the event. That's when I thought
Mhm.
about it. But next year, you watch out, y'all. Y'all coming to the women's empowerment next year.
Mhm.
That's right. But D,
Mhm.
you got so much stuff going on too. Your books, your
Mhm.
what you do. You doing an anthology now, right? Or
Right.
yeah, you doing I love anthologies. You doing an anthology now. So could you tell us a little bit about what your anthology about and do you have your people or not? Are you still looking for authors to join? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, actually, my current publishing career really started with an anthology that grew from a program that I had, and it kind of gave us the idea. Hey, um, maybe we should write a book about this, and that was where we got I Am Enough from, and that really sparked that idea in me that there are so many women out there who have something to say. Maybe they don't have a whole book's worth, right? Or maybe they don't have the time or the energy to write a whole big, book, but they do have a story to tell. And so that's where the rest of the books have come from. And
Hmm.
every book that we've done has the title of it and the idea for it has come from an actual woman and her story of what she was going through and what she needed to bring forth in her life. And then other
Hmm.
people just kind of gravitated around the topic. And the latest book is I'm Every Woman. And I guess I went through the fire and now I'm Every Woman. I'm hitting up Shaka Khan uh, titles, right? But you know, just that's just the what I really wanted from this book was the idea that there are so many things that we as women go through that are universal. You know,
Right.
we go through, motherhood, we go through loss, we go through friendship, we go through, our children and our parents as well. So all the stories in this book have to do with either our own internal journey to getting to where we want to be ourselves, or our relationship with other people, and how that really translates to every woman experiencing the same thing. And right now, the book is complete, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be another one. So,
That's right.
um, and generally, what happens is, and I don't know why this is, but this is how it happens. We have the online. We do an online, and we also do an in-person kind of event for each book. And so it's always at that in person event when we all get together and somebody says something that's okay, that's the next one. So I don't know what the next book is yet because we have not had this book come out. It's going to come out in October. And I think it'll make a great gift for yourself or others.
Mm.
But the idea is to bring forth whatever is that topic that's on the mind right then and have women write about that. And I think it's a phenomenal compilation. And I encourage anybody who if they want to get into also being that publisher, that might be a great way for them to also start, is to get together some women
Mm.
who each have a story. That way you also don't have to put together a whole book to be published, and get together a bunch of women and make your own book. And that may be the great way to start too.
Right, right. Now, Shaquana, you have several books and you have your clothing line, which I love. Let me tell you about your shirt first that I purchased. That is good quality. That's a good quality shirt.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
washed it, put it in the dryer. It still looked brand new for real.
Thank
And it
you.
Wow.
didn't shrink or nothing. So you
Thank
got
Hmm.
that shirt. So let's talk about your your shirt first. Like what made you get into clothing?
Okay, so basically, God paved ways came to me at one of my lowest moments in my life. And I was going through something, and I just remember standing in an empty apartment. And I'm thinking, Lord, what I do from here? And so what happened was, it's like it was a clear little voice that
Mm,
said, I paved the way for you last time. I can pave the way for you again. And
Mm-hmm.
then it
Hmm.
stuck with me like, oh my God, God, you are right. You paved ways already. And if you did it before, you can do it again. And so God paved ways had definitely come to me. And I started working on a design and putting it together to put on t-shirts and hoodies, um, mugs and tumblers. And then not only that, it inspired me to write an actual Christian book, which is God
mm,
Ways. And so this is volume one. And so the colors of the cover of the book are going to match the clothing pieces. So I have a red cover here. So I might have the black cover there to match the black shirt. But what this book is about is 17 different stories, 17
mm.
different trials and tribulations, but 17 different blessings, because it just shows how God blesses us in our own way.
Hmm.
So it really uplifts you. You can write in the book as well. They have scriptures and messages and notes to just inspire you and uplift you, you know?
Oh wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's great. And I want to ask all of y'all the same question. We're gonna go back. We're taking it back because some of y'all got a couple of books out. We're going back to your first book. Who inspired you to write your first book and why did you publish it? Nanette.
Okay, my first book was Family Secrets, Lies, and Alibis. And I began writing in college. I began writing poetry and children's stories for myself, skipping a class, but being present in a class. that was a class I had already taken. So I was just waiting for the test to come up and every week just take a test. But I didn't want my attendance to look like I wasn't there. So during that time, I would write poems, I would write little stories and stuff, and just keep them for myself. Had volumes and volumes of them because I did it through college. My at my job, a woman came up to me one day, and I'm now in my 40s, working, and she came up to me. No, I'm sorry, 50s. She was in her 40s, and she came up to me, and ironically, as Shaquana mentioned, God does things in weird ways. I say it's a sense of humor, but the thing is, you have to look back at it and say that was God. That didn't really happen. And she walked up to me after having a baby, and she said, "I want to talk to you about your husband." I said, "No, you don't. We don't have to have that conversation, especially here. We're not going to talk about that." She said, "No, no, no, no. I really need to talk to him because I think because of your last name, I could be related to him." Now, mind you, my husband's in his 50s. We like, what? No. So the title of the book, Family Secrets, Lies, and Alibis, was the reaction of the family. She was his sister. And the book was based on everything that they wanted to ask and wonder about and figure out why. And of course, being a first-time published author, I immediately had to get into what is this publishing thing? How do you publish? Who do you publish with? Where do you go? How do you create? And my method has always been know what you're doing before you get into it. Know how to produce and do. Check who you talking to, because everybody you talk to is not for you. Again, a God's moment. Be able to talk to people that are in it, but not so much that you're giving them your everything. You want what they have first so that you can understand who you're working with and who you're not working with. So Family Secrets, Lies, and Alibis wound up being 700 and some odd pages because I didn't know any better. I just kept writing. And I just kept doing what it was. And so I was told when I got with people who knew better, "Oh, baby, you got to break this book down. You can't put out 700 and some odd pages. You need to break this up. Now you can put it in a novel. This is how many pages, is expected, how many words are expected in a novel. You can do this, you could do that." And I broke it in two. So I said, okay, I'll break it in two. And I'll sit and wait. When people start reading it and they want the second one, I'll just sell them the second one. No, 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 baby, you don't do that. You got to wait and promote, and you got to give them time to sink in and give. Well, all my friends have the book. No, 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 no. It's not just about your friends. You've published a book. Oh, I got to wait. So now I waited. And then afterwards, I said, well, I'm done. I'm not writing that. This is too much. This is more than I bargained. This is a lot of work. This is no longer the fun that I was having in the classroom. This is actually sit down, write, edit, retype, reformat, get a cover. No, I don't want to do all of this. My husband said, no, everybody has a story to tell. Continue to write. I don't want to do that. Well, the audience came back. Hey, what is the Mintz family doing? I said, the Mintz family ain't doing nothing because I'm not writing another. No, I'm not writing no more about them. I'm not writing about them. No, but you got to remember now, so-and-so did this. What did she do after that? And I'm like, this is not, no. Because I was basing it just on the fact that he had a sister. And what if they had not discussed who they were before they met? Suppose they got together. Suppose they wanted to marry. Suppose they wanted to have children. So all of that went into the components and it revved up an audience. Well, by the grace of God, that audience is still with me, and I'm in 17 years, 17 books later.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a blessing. But the thing is that
Wow. Kudos.
book 4 of that saga is done and waiting to be published now because they wouldn't let me stop, and I did books in between,
Mm-hmm.
but they would not. They just keep saying they like this family. I don't know why they like this dysfunctional family, but they love this family. So I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to know that I have the talent, but it's also a blessing to know that I've met people along the way that have led me in the right path because we all
Yes.
can get thrown off. So
Hmm.
it's been a
Right.
blessing, but that was my first book and it ignited. So I'm still writing.
Congratulations on that. You still writing. You're on number 4 now. 4.
Yeah, book number 4 there, and in total 17 books published. So
Wow.
I'm doing pretty good.
Wonderful.
I'm doing pretty, and
Yes.
I've only been in 2 anthologies.
Hmm.
I've,
Wow.
on-
2
I've only been in
anthologies.
2. I've only been in 2, but everything else has been just plain out
Hmm.
from cover to cover. My books.
Hmm. Oh wow!
That is wonderful.
Congratulations, Shaquana. Let's start from your first book and who inspired you to write that first book and why did you publish it?
Okay. So basically, God was dealing with me at an early age when I didn't even understand it. You know, as you grow older, then you understand what was going on. So
Hmm.
actually, when I was inspired by writing, it wasn't by anyone. I'm from a very, very small town. So hearing of authors and different things like that, it was foreign to us. It took a tragic incident in my life so God could show me that I had talent because I never would have known I had it. See, when I was
Mm,
a kid, all I believed because I was the oldest grandchild, I was the oldest niece, and the family just always beautiful this and beautiful that. So I just started growing up thinking I'm Shaquana Jackson. I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. I mean, it got
Hmm.
so bad when we had house phones. I would pick up the phone and say Shaquana Jackson, the most beautiful girl in the world. And so it could have been a bill collector. And they're like, well, baby, that's good to hear, but I need your mama to see the difference between $20 and $41 bill. You know what I'm saying? So I thought then that I was gonna always be an actress, a model. I was always in pageants. So I never had time to sit down and write because I'm for the stage. And at 10 years old, I had an accident where me and my cousin was playing tag, freeze tag. And so I tagged her and I said, Tag, you're it. So now it was time for her to chase me and she got very upset about it. And I didn't know at the time. I'm still having fun. And when she pushed me down, I fell on my left side on the cement. And then I remember
mm,
thumping me on my shoulder. Now I heard something crack, but I didn't understand what was going on. I knew I was in pain, but I couldn't figure out at this moment what is happening. I just remember laying on my back and she's laying over me. And I was a really, really small girl. And she said, if you ever tell somebody I'm gonna do something else. And when she said that, that
mm,
fear stuck in me because at the time my mom was in the hospital having her baby, my sister. So I was to my grandmother at the time, and that was her niece. And so what happened was, y'all, to fast forward the story, 8 months later, I had never told no one. It got to the point I couldn't even move my arm. When I put
mm,
on my clothes, I had to stick one arm in first, put it over my head, and put my other arm in. Until one day, my mom had walked in the bathroom with me, and she had noticed something. And that's the first time, 8 months later, I finally said what had happened to me. And I broke down. So I just remember her rushing me to the hospital. And when they did all the x-rays and stuff, they said, oh my God, they say, Mom, first of all, we don't know how she could be this strong, but it's broke in the growth and
mm,
it healed back the wrong way. So we got to go in and re-break it. So that was the
mm,
turning point for me of going through multiple surgeries, putting screws and plates and everything in my arm. And I say all that to say this: I couldn't even play PE in school, so I had time to sit. And when I was
Hmm.
sick, I remember just watching my favorite sitcom, and I said, "Oh, I can write that." So I didn't start off by writing books. I started off by writing TV scripts. And then when I let the family listen to it, the more they showed me they was interested in it, like it, I started going to movie scripts. I started going longer. So that's how I found my gift, because I didn't know I had it. I didn't have time to sit. I was always on stage, but when that incident happened, that's how writing came to me. Yes.
Mm,
Mm.
wow.
No, it
Now
was a
D.
tragedy. I said, God. And it was that, I experienced depression at an early age. I asked God,
Mm,
why this happened to me. People that was girls that were secretly competing with me, thought it was time to make fun of me because I got the leverage on you. Something is going on with your arm.
Mhm.
And at that time, I really felt like I didn't want to live. And so my mom, I
mm,
remember going through counseling and everything. And
Mhm.
after I came out of it, like I said, I started writing and, accomplishing more. Not saying one day I still can't beat this cover of this magazine, a girl, but as of now, I'm writing.
mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so, and
Wow.
now, like I said, I write children's books, and even with bullying, what I experienced. So, um, I have different, books that help kids deal with
Mhm.
real life situations and how to find solutions for them as well. So,
Mm.
yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, D, your first
Yes.
book, and who inspired you?
Well, my very first book was written, I started writing it when I was 16, and I was kind of the family writer. Okay. And so we were on vacation up in Massachusetts on Martha's Vineyard. And the other young ladies who used to, one of our parents' friends had a house up there. So everybody got shipped up there for the summer, for a certain amount of time. So we're a whole bunch of us up there, and I think this is how they paid for the house because we had so many folks in the house, um, and so everybody said, "Well, you should write a romance," and I was like, "All right, I'll try it." So I'm writing this story, and everybody's sharing it, blah 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 blah. And after the summer was over, I completely forgot about the whole thing and went on to write things that I thought were going to be more scholarly and whatever, right? Because that was something I would never publish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it wouldn't leave me alone. It wouldn't leave me
Mm.
alone. I throw it in a drawer and forget about it for a few years, and then I'd open that drawer again. Oh, and I started writing again. And this was way back when you were writing on a typewriter, so you were rewriting the whole page
Mm.
just to whatever. And I started writing this book when I was 16, and I was working on it on and off until finally I was working on it again, and by now I was married. I had you know uh, a uh, a husband who was like, "Why are you working on this all night? If you're not going to publish it, I'm just gonna you haven't sent it to an editor, you haven't sent it to a publisher. You've been working on this since I knew you, and if you don't do something with it, I'm throwing it out. This just takes up too much time." Mind you, he had bought me a computer so I could work on it, but
Mm.
that's another story, right? So I had to say to myself, how how am I ever going to be satisfied with this? What is it going to take for me to be satisfied with this and recognize that this is something good enough to be published? And so I looked it over one more time. I sent it out to one agent and one editor, and eventually it was picked up by both. And so that first book was published by. It actually sold to Arabesque Publishing, if you remember way back when,
Mhm.
but they got bought up right at that time by BET Publishing. So that's what it took like a year for it to come out, and um, I really enjoyed writing that book. In fact, that became a series, and I wrote. I think I have 13 novels and 4 or 5 novellas that were all fiction that I wrote around that time. And I really just enjoyed writing fiction. And I have to report that the bug has kind of bit me again. So, you know, because when I stopped writing was because I had an agent who died. I got another
Mm.
agent And that person passed away. And then my editor left the publishing house. So it was like we could call that being orphaned, right? There was nobody left, and so I just didn't have that support I was used to, and plus, I mean, it was just like a whole big thing. My grandmother died. Everything happened right around then, and I stopped writing. And it really was coming back to the nonfiction that like restarted my writing career, my interest in writing one more time. But now a fiction idea has come to me um, that I think I'm really gonna pursue. I just haven't started yet. I'm in the pre-writing phase, so hopefully that will gel and I will really start working on that probably in the fall.
Okay, because it's just stuck on me when you said 16 and romance. What did you know about romance at the age of 16?
Not
It just
one
I
damn
apologize. It just
thing.
stuck in my
I did not know.
like.
Well, I mean, we used to read the Harlequins. That I mean, if they kissed by the end of
Mhm.
the book, that was a big deal,
Uh,
right? Way back when. Now they're doing all kind of stuff, but
Mhm.
back then it was very, it was very chaste. So, but I didn't know one thing, not one.
okay, that's all I kept thinking about. 16, a romance?
Yep. Maybe that's why it took me 20 years. I did not know one thing.
Funny,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, it
But
wouldn't be good.
it's hard
But,
even when you're older, because my biggest fear in writing that first book, because it wasn't poetry, it wasn't a
Mhm.
children's story, and in writing that first book, my biggest fear was, well, I got to show how they love each other.
Mhm.
How am I going to express this? Now I was grown, good and grown,
Mhm.
mm,
but I was scared that the elders were going to read it. I was
Mhm.
mm,
scared that because it was a family secrets, which it happened that way, family
Mhm.
members were going
mm,
to read it. But I had to
Yep.
put those little scenes in there to try to, soup up the book a little bit, because they're supposed to be so in love that they were ignoring the possibility of them being brother and sister.
Right.
So
mm.
how do you do that without
Mhm.
putting that in there, you know? So I
Well,
Mm.
understand at
by the
16 you got
time
to add
I finally
some
published, it
spice
was
to
in
it.
there, but
Put
not at
put a
16.
little drop of spice somewhere.
Despite, but let me tell you how my first book came along. I know a lot of y'all already know, but for those the audience that don't know, my first book came along because my son passed away from leukemia, and one of the nurses that took care of my son, she told me to take my journal and turn it into a book, and I can help
Mhm,
others. So that was my first book on What
Mhm.
the Way Mother Do, the Shaquille Williams story. So I took that
Mhm.
book. I ain't know nothing about writing. I think Facebook was really just coming on, and I had to reach out to people back then. They ain't wanted to share nothing. Like, I don't
mhm,
understand. Some authors don't want to tell you how to do this, how to do that back then. And
Mhm.
so I had to Google and I had to learn a lot of stuff, for myself. And I
mhm,
had to get me an agent. I got an agent and got ripped off. Yes, I did. I got
Mhm.
ripped off. The agent did my book for $2,500, but didn't
Mhm.
edit the book. That's how good I didn't know nothing. I thought when you pay the agent, they do everything, the format, the
mhm,
editing,
mhm,
everything.
Wow.
But when I
mhm,
seen like all my words like screwed up, I'm like, wait, what the hell is this? What's going on? And then when I
Mhm.
called the agent back, he was like, oh, you didn't pay us to edit. What? I didn't pay y'all
mhm,
to edit. They was like, no, that's
Mhm.
a separate fee. That's another $1,500. I was like, shit, they ain't getting another $1,500 out of me. Then I met this lady finally met this lady on Facebook, and she helped me and she introduced me to some people, book clubs and stuff.
mhm,
And that's how I just got my book out. Like I had to do it over because the editing was like it wasn't
mhm.
nothing. And then I was like, how did a publishing company agency? And they had to read the story. Then they see all them doggone errors in my book. I was so pissed off because
No, they
I
did.
just
I'm telling you right now, they did not
Mm-mm.
read your story
for real.
because people who are like that, the people who are ripping you off, first of all, The only thing your agent is supposed to do for you is to sell your book to a traditional publisher. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
publishing with a traditional publisher, you don't need an agent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an agent
Mm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
So
Mm-hmm.
you need to know some publishing rules and
Mm-hmm.
laws and whatever to put out a book. But that agent, the only thing they're supposed to do is sell that book. And
Mm-hmm.
And
so if anything, if and that's why it's important when you say you were ripped off, because they ripped
mm-hmm.
you off every way they could, right? It
Mm.
wasn't just taking your money, it was also taking your time and your energy and your effort and allowing you to think they were going to do stuff for you
Mm-hmm.
that they were not going to do,
And,
and they shouldn't even be paid to do, because
and
if they didn't like what you had on that piece of paper, they should have, on your book, they should have sent it back to you and said, you could better edit this better before you even
Mm-hmm.
send it out, because no
mm-hmm.
traditional publisher is going to take a manuscript full of errors.
Right. So they ain't do that. And then I really, at first I was blaming them, but then I blamed myself because I wasn't educated enough on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I
Mhm,
tell all the authors I work with, do your research. That is so important
Mm-hmm.
to do
right.
your, and get an editor. You must have an editor. This lady did her own book. Her book, I apologize to her, but her book, I just can't say it. But
Hmm.
she edited her own book. And then
Hmm.
I was telling her, as a friend I am, I was like, you should take your book down and redo
Hmm.
your book. Pay an editor. She said she ain't had the money to pay the editor. So I'm asking her, why did you put your book out then? So she said, oh, I edited my own book. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's the wrong move a lot of people
Hmm.
make. You might think you can edit it, but you need at least 2 to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
need that. You need that. And I was telling her, and I thought she probably got offended because she ain't take her book down. I said, you're going to have a lot of return. Because y'all know Amazon will return a book in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
They'll return the book in a minute. And, but she said she ain't had the money and she left her book up there. Like
And
she
there,
just didn't care.
and it's so many different things that can be done to avoid
Mm-hmm.
some of the pricing that they
Hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest to all the clients that come to me, get an editing program that will teach you.
Yes.
You don't want
Yes.
something like I had White Smoke when they first came out, and White Smoke will give you a little snippet of, this is the error, this is what you need to do. But I found out that Grammarly will teach you. It
Mm-hmm.
tells you, hey, this is why you need that comma, or this is
Hmm.
why you need the period. This is
Hmm.
we all of your verbiage is doing this, and this is
Hmm.
what you're
Mm-hmm.
implying when you put the comma in the wrong place, because sometimes we put the
Hmm.
comma in, but now you change the meaning of the
You have the
sentence.
sentence.
you
Hmm.
know so you have to
Yeah.
have all of those components. Now what does
Hmm.
that do for the new author? That means that instead of paying $600 for every period that you missed or every comma that you missed, you save $600. Now, you might have other problems in the book, but you no longer have that comma problem. You no
Mm-hmm.
longer have the punctuation problem. There's certain things you no longer have because you put it through a program first that is teaching you how to be better at what you do. You still have
Mm-hmm.
to pay, but now you're not going to pay as much as you would if you sent it in raw. And stop
Hmm.
looking it over every chapter and going back changing the chapter before you
Uh-huh.
finish.
Hmm.
Stop doing that. Go through your whole book and then go back and read. Because as
Hmm.
that changes, when you get to chapter 4 or 5, chapter 1 might change again. Don't go back and forth. That's for the people that say, "Oh, it's taking me 10 years to write my novel," because you keep going back to chapter 1. Stop going back. Write your
Hmm.
book and then read your book. Get a second set of eyes, as was said.
Hmm.
Dee said it.
Yeah.
You need another pair of eyes to look at the book. You
Hmm.
keep looking at the same error and you don't notice it's an error. You keep looking at the
Hmm.
same verbiage and don't notice you wrote scene 2 into chapter 4 3 or 4 times. You in the same bedroom doing the same thing. No, it doesn't happen like that. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. But if you
Yeah.
explain it to them in the beginning, they seem to think it's harsh. But like I tell them, before
Hmm.
you work with me, understand, I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm
Hmm.
going to be blunt with you because your money
Mhm.
is involved. And I know when
Right.
my
Right.
money is involved, I want things to be correct. So if you paying
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
you need to know I'm gonna come to you
Mm-hmm.
bluntly. No, I
Mm-hmm.
won't do your book because you don't know basic grammar. Are we gonna go through
Mm-hmm.
basic grammar? Yes. But if you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do that, I can't do your book. I can't do the hip hop book with all of the hip hop language. And I know you don't talk like that to your mother and your family. You do that with your friends. But you ain't
Mm-hmm.
talking like that to your grandmother. You're not doing that. So why are we
Right.
gonna make this conversation like grandma understands the hip hop language? She asking you what's wrong with you. Come on, let's be real. And when you spending thousands to make a book and
Mm-hmm.
then sitting back for months waiting for $15 a copy,
Mm-hmm.
$20 a copy to come
Mm-hmm.
back, you're going to be upset when you don't get any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
You're not patient enough to do. You want that quick money. This is not a quick thing. Books are not
Right.
Right.
books are not the street hustle. It's not.
Right. You know.
Everything takes time. Do people do want like they're gonna get $1 million overnight? And I tell all my authors that I write with, that I work with, that
Mm,
you're not gonna get rich if you thinking money. You're doing this for the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
I
Yep.
think you should put in, if you love doing it. Love. Once you love and you keep doing it, getting good experience on everything, the money will follow.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
But
mhm.
first, you gotta love what you do. You just can't write a book and be like, "Damn, my payday is coming. I'm about to make this meal." No, it ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. Then you're gonna be disappointed. I know. You know how many people I knew was like, "I ain't never writing another book again." You know why? Because they was waiting for this.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mhm.
takes time. I
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mhm.
I done wrote probably over like 8 books now, and I still don't have my dream car. It takes
Exactly.
time.
It
Yep.
takes
you
time.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah. You just got to be patient with yourself. Stop thinking money. It's gonna come to you eventually. Everything will come
Mhm.
to you eventually. You just got to be patient. You have to be on
Mhm.
patient. That's what I tell my writers. So how important do y'all think is editing? Editing is real important because
Mhm.
you can't edit your own work. For some people, I know a teacher. She'd be like, "I'm a teacher. I'm this." You still need two eyes.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You
And the next book
still.
that's coming out, I have somebody else. Now I edit everyone else's essays, but I have somebody else edit mine in
Mhm.
my own book because, as
Mhm.
you say, if just one pair of eyes is looking at it, you see what you think you put on the paper. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily, what's on the paper is not necessarily what was in your mind. And when someone else reads it, they can, see the path through what you wrote. Does it make sense? Are
Mhm.
you using one word too much? I mean, and I
Mhm.
even put it through Grammarly, um, as Annette was talking about. I even tell students that I have for other courses. I teach a course for educators. Don't send me anything if you didn't put it through Grammarly first, because I know you don't know how to write. I know you know, not everybody who wants to be an educator is fluid with language. Put it through that
Right.
first and then send it to me, because if you send it to me with a whole bunch of grammatical errors that just, make me like that, I don't want to
and
read
then
it. And
and then
and
you
it
got
doesn't flow. It doesn't help me to
and then
to to do that for you, to edit that
and,
when it's not right.
and then sometimes everybody speak different languages when they write. Like people say, I write like I talk. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
just because, and I can't say it's the grammar for everybody because everybody speak different languages, but it
Mm-hmm.
still helps to get an editor. Like my editor, I hope she listen. Hey Trish, my editor, when I start bringing her, like, just say, how can I put it? I ain't gonna say like hood books or ghetto books or whatever. She didn't know that language. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
she had to adjust to, if she wanted to work with me, she had to adjust because I don't like everybody's story to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to work with
Mhm.
me, and she'd call me, Sharnel, she put this in there. I was like, oh, that's our language. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mhm.
make it sound good but keep our same language, she did a
Mm-hmm.
hell of a. She did a hell of a job. So that's why I'm saying it ain't really, sometimes it ain't the editing. It's how we talk. And
Right.
how we talk
Well,
is
not
how we
only
write.
that, yeah, not
Hmm.
only that, I did a book called Gossip Line, and the people in the book was a Southern white racist parent, mother and father
Hmm.
from. They told me, people told me, well, they speak Geechee down there. I don't know what Geechee is, but
Hmm.
deep Alabama, Mississippi, they have a way
Hmm.
of speaking that's so
Hmm.
broken that
Hmm.
I didn't know what I was like, what? Yeah, they speak
Hmm.
Geechee. So now that's the other thing. Research who you talking about. Research
Yep.
the
Hmm.
areas that they come from. Research
Hmm.
if you're talking about a doctor, talk in doctor's terms. You know, do the research for your book so that you can
Hmm.
understand what you're doing. Because when I said, hey, I want names from deep south, that's when people
Hmm.
were telling me about this Geechee speech, and I was like, huh?
Hmm.
So when I sent it to my editor who is in Illinois, she said, you can't imagine how many times I had to push skip whenever they were talking,
Hmm.
Hmm.
because I don't want to give them proper language when they're talking to each other if this is where I'm saying they're from. If I'm
Right.
painting the
Right.
scene, you want to paint the scene the correct way. And a
Right.
Hmm.
lot of people do not do that. And now they got the cheat thing where they could go to Chat GPT and
Hmm.
AI. And what they don't realize is it's corrective speech. It doesn't
Hmm.
change speech. It doesn't change emotions. It doesn't change.
Hmm.
It'll give you a background for all the things that are narratives for where they were sitting for lunch and all the, but when you come down to emotions and painting a picture for them to talk, it's not going to do that, and you're going
Right.
to get caught in being rejected because of the fact that you're using a computerized system that has no idea what an
Hmm.
emotion is. When you say
Hmm.
hey, they're going to change it to hello. You know that it's not going to do it. So you have to be careful. But as new writers,
Hmm.
all of
Hmm.
those mistakes. I have a young lady that always says, I went to my mama's house. No, you went to your mother's house.
Hmm.
Go to your
Right.
mama's.
And that's what I was saying. Everybody, everybody correcting everybody, but just say like the Southern and the South. That's how they talk.
That's
You
how they
understand
talk.
what I'm
No, but
saying?
she wasn't saying it
Yeah.
as this as her talking. She was saying it as
Hmm.
the narrator.
Hmm.
Oh.
I'm narrating the
Okay.
story. You can't
Hmm.
Okay.
narrate and not have the proper terminology. When you talk and you say, hey, mama, da 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 da, that's different. Or if
Hmm.
you're talking to somebody else and you say, hey, I went to my mama's house, that's something different. But when you're the
Hmm.
narrator saying, yeah, I had to stop by my mama's house. No, no, no. You stop by your mother's house.
Hmm.
And then you go into your language. Because the
Hmm.
thing is, you don't want people to get thrown off the story, especially when you don't want the story to be about you. You changing
Right.
the characters to cover you.
Hmm.
You changing everything to cover you. But you talking about you went to your mama's house. No, 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 no. She went to her mother's house.
Hmm.
You can't do it that way. So it's a lot of things, as we all know here on this panel.
Hmm.
It's a lot of things that people have to learn. But the thing about it is, no one has time to learn it. They want it to be quick,
Hmm.
and it's not a quick process. This job
Right.
is not a quick process.
Right. Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question. My a lady I know, she wrote her whole book on AI. Do y'all think that was a good idea?
No, no, because first of all, um, why on earth do you want the voice of AI or anybody else? It's like somebody who plagiarizes a book off somebody what somebody else wrote. That's not even your work. That's what AI had to work. So you better put AI's name
Mhm.
on it and forget about it. Second thing is you cannot copyright things that come out of AI.
Yeah,
So
Hmm.
that
they won't let you
means
copyright it. Mhm.
right. So that means you this is not your work because you cannot even claim it.
I
So
don't think she
Mhm.
knew that though, but go ahead, because she was like she did her book on AI.
now when you're working on nonfiction, AI is good for helping you plan. You know, if you
Mhm.
say I want to write a book about I don't know, zebras. I don't know why that came to my mind. And you go to AI and you say, I'm writing a book about zebras. What are some of the topics that I should cover?
Mhm.
And AI will
Mhm.
say, well, talk about the stripes and talk about, is it really a
Yeah,
black zebra with white stripes or a white zebra with black, whatever it is, right?
yeah.
So it can help you plan, but that doesn't mean that those words that come out don't have to be yours. Okay, it's like
Mhm.
anything else. If you want to claim that you wrote something, you actually have to do the work. And the
Mhm.
shortcut, I don't even know what to say about that. Because
And that
why
is a
bother?
short. That's a shortcut because
Why bother?
everybody's so into AI now. AI good because I use AI on certain things, so AI is
Mhm.
good. But far as writing a book, I asked her. I was like, "Why would you write your book on AI?" And she was like, "It's easy. It's easier, like to
Mhm.
write her book on AI." So AI is good. A lot of people
I think
love
we need to
AI.
not call it writing.
What you gonna call that?
Copying.
Mhm.
Copy it.
Copying is good, but you're not you're not writing anything. AI
Well,
is
you're not
writing
the only
something down.
author either,
Right.
because
Right.
AI takes the ideas of everybody that has written a book by romance. And when you
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm writing this book about romance and this is what's going on, AI pulls from all of those different areas. It's the same thing,
Mhm.
the same reason why we have to get royalty-free pictures. If you go to
Mhm.
get a picture, you have to get a royalty-free picture because they've already signed
Mm-hmm.
it over to be sold.
Mhm.
But if you
Yeah.
Okay.
don't and you go through AI is pulling images from the thought that you've given it. Give
Mhm.
me a tree with blue berries or whatever the case. It's looking for
Mm-hmm.
all the trees that have blue berries and it's telling you option 1 is this,
Mhm.
option 2 is that. It does the same thing with writing. I want to write a romance novel where the man is over hills. Well, here's option 1, here's option 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joe can meet Sue and all of this other stuff,
Mhm.
and they put it together. But they
Right.
pulled it from some other story that's already written. That's the
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
problem they had in Hollywood. When was it? 2 years ago, when they were talking about script writing, when they were talking about all of the things that went into it. They were
Mhm.
arguing about you're pulling from my piece that I wrote. You're pulling
Mhm.
from,
Mm-hmm.
you're pulling from areas that have already been copywritten, published, and everything else. It's the same
Mhm.
thing as if we took Shaquana's idea off of her shirt and said, we're going to make us a book bag. Well, you took her idea and put it on a book bag. You didn't
Mhm.
create a new idea, even though it may have the same wording as a lot of things that we see. You can't take her work. This is her
Mhm.
work.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mhm.
can't do it. And I just think it's invasion. You know, all of us would look at it and go, wait a minute, I wrote that book 2 years ago, or I wrote that book 3 years ago, or I made that slogan last year. We would all look at it and
Mhm.
want to say, hey, that's my work. Well, who's
Mhm.
going to protect it if AI is going to take over?
Mhm.
Who's
And
going to
who
protect
knows
it if
if AI
everybody
even
agrees? I'm just going to use
honors
AI.
trademarks or anything else?
You
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. I mean,
Mhm.
even in commercials on the television, they can't copy somebody else's slogan and somebody else's commercial.
Mhm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't do it. So why would they allow it in writing? You know,
Mhm.
I don't want somebody to take. You can have similar stories. You can have 1,000 T-shirts, but 1,000 T-shirts should not say the same thing as your T-shirt. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. You're taking it too far,
And
Okay.
I
and you're
just,
lazy, and
yeah,
you're lazy.
I
Mhm.
believe too. That's where you differentiate the authors, like the real writers, from people that
Hmm.
maybe not really have a love for it. Because if you're a writer, I'm not saying AI is not a good thing. It is a good thing for certain things, but when you are a true writer, you can write,
Mhm.
because whatever you spew out to me, I might not like anything you spit out to me. That might not be
Mm-hmm.
nothing I was thinking about in my head, and I'm not going to go with something I don't feel comfortable with. Like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about?
Right.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. And to have somebody just take total control and just
Mhm.
spew you out something and you go ahead and publish with that, and your own thoughts and everything is not into it, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying this is what I wrote, but really I had nothing to do with it, and I might not even care for it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use AI to complete my whole
Yeah.
product. That's just
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That,
you
Yeah.
also don't know whether things that AI puts out are actually factually correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
just before I came on here, I don't know why, but I was on TikTok, and it had like this romance story that was played out. It was very obvious both the video and the script were created by AI, and it was the
Mm.
most horrendously laughable thing I've seen. And I actually look forward to seeing more of it because it's just so bad. It's funny. But if that were my product, if that were my book that were out there in the world, right? I
Mm-hmm.
would not want to put that out there as my and saying that's my product. That's the thing that I created with it.
Right.
Where half the time the names of the characters are mispronounced, and sometimes people are taller than the other person, and then they're shorter, and then all kind of craziness. But that's the kind of thing that, as Shaquan was saying, when you are a real writer, you want your stuff to be accurate. You want your
Mm-hmm.
stuff to reflect who you are. You want whatever you're putting out to be something that when you charge money, you feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
charging money for that because it's good enough for
Mm-hmm.
someone to pay
mm,
you for it. And, you know, that just is not it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So let me ask y'all a question. Are y'all
Hmm.
readers? What books are y'all reading now? Shaquana?
Now I'm gonna be honest.
Me,
I'm
I'm not reading, so
I'm not a reader. I'm a writer. Nah, that might be so bad. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I do read things like to uplift me and inspire me. I need things for motivation, but just to read, I'm always writing something. So I just feel like, but I know reading, it helps you grow. Everybody say you got to read something, it helps you grow, but I don't know. I have a
Hmm.
lot inside me already. So I'm more of just a writer. I don't want to lie.
me too. What about you, Nanette and Dee Dee? D.
I don't read while I write.
Yeah, I can't do that
That's
Yes,
either.
a habit. That's a
yes,
habit
yes.
that I picked up early on because I found myself writing in the voice of whoever I was reading, as
Yep.
Hmm.
opposed to writing in my own voice. So I
Yep.
Hmm.
don't read while I'm actively in a story, no matter how long that story takes me to write it. If the story's not over, I'm not reading. Now I'll read, like Shaquana said, I'll read inspirational stuff because it's
Hmm.
short. I'll read
Hmm.
little snippets. I'll take verses from the Bible, different things like
Right.
that. I'll read those type things because
Yes.
I'm not
Hmm.
writing those type things. But if
Hmm.
I'm if
Hmm.
I'm writing a story, or I'm writing even children's stories, I don't want to read and get caught up
Hmm.
in the story,
Hmm.
and then my reflection will be more on trying to
Hmm.
unite my story with what I read. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I try not to do that. So I'm in the middle of writing a novel now that I started before I finished three other books in between, but I'm still writing that novel. So I haven't read in a couple of months an entire book. I've read,
Hmm.
like I said, inspirational things and poems and
Hmm.
different things like that, but I have not sat down to read a book. Now, when I do read, I like murder mysteries, I like crime, I like I like a good romance novel. I don't like mushy stuff. I like one that
Hmm.
has a concrete foundation. I will
Hmm.
get deep into that. I like romance novels that have a meaning. I like
Hmm.
I don't like over spiritual books, but I like spiritual books. I want something that's
Hmm.
going to inspire me and not so much push the religious elements
Hmm.
to me. Inspire
Hmm.
me and let me know where to look to read that passage. Inspire me and tell me this relates to this. So when I do read,
Hmm.
those are the type of books that I do read. I don't like science fiction. I don't like space stuff. I
Me
don't like
neither.
Star Wars and all that goo gobby
Me
stuff.
neither.
I ain't doing all
Fill
of
my
that.
heart.
I ain't doing all of that. I'm not doing gory monsters that come from the moon. I'm not into that. But if I could see the reality in it,
Hmm.
if I could see the reality in it, I'll sit down and read it. I'll take the time to read it.
Okay, yeah, our next guest I'm about to pull her on. Elma Thomas is about to come up. 1 second, y'all. Hello, Elma. Hi, how you doing? You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Oh, that's good. Everybody, that's Elma Thomas. Elma's on. Could you tell people a little bit about yourself?
I have um a BA in community and health services. In about 3 weeks I'm graduating with my doctorate in ministry. I've if you notice I'm laying down, it's not because this is my nap time, but in 2023 I had a massive stroke that left my right side compromised, and my right side is the side that I write with. So before I had the stroke, I wrote two books and a number of anthologies. But after I've had the stroke, I've written about five books, and I've been a
Mm,
part about, I can't even remember. I have chapters in so many books that I can't remember, but um, I did all of that with my left hand with one finger, because when I
mm,
was, what I wanted to say, and I had to keep going back, and it was really frustrating. But I knew God had a purpose and a plan for my life, so I had to find that purpose. So I continued. I didn't give up on my authorship. I continued to write books. I've been on in the last 2 years about 200 podcasts, virtual conferences, and and seminars. So the enemy had told me that it was all over, that I'll never teach again. I teach Bible school every Tuesday night, and every Friday night I teach Bible college. So right here in the place that the enemy told me was over, that I might as well throw in the towel,
mm,
um, is where God has used me the most. Like 20 years ago, it was prophesied over my life that I wasn't just going to be national, I was going to be international. But a lot of things happened in our life. I lost my son. I was homeless for a while. I got divorced, and I'm married and divorced, and record timing, because I found that he was a substance abuser and he was in denial. So you can't help someone who's in denial. And
mm.
then I had the massive stroke in 2023, and just September of this year I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. So
Oh
I
wow.
put being um international on the back burner. And then about 2 years ago, before my apostle died, he said, I'm going to call you ambassador, because you're not just national, you're international. Now, this is when I've had the stroke, and the enemy is telling me that I might as well throw in the towel. It's over. And I'm thinking now, okay, God, you promised me I was going to walk again. Am I going to walk and be international? How am I going to, you going to fulfill this prophecy over my life? And I know that God is not man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he shall repent. But every word that comes out of his mouth is going to accomplish where it's sent. So I'm thinking how God's going to do it. And like I told you earlier, um, what was I saying? I forgot. Um, oh, that. the I've been on over 200 podcasts, seminars, and virtual conferences. And then I looked through my tasks, and I was like, I've spoken in Australia and Africa, all over the world. Um, these seminars and podcasts, I was like, wow, God, right here from the place where the enemy told me that it was over for me, right in that place that you have used me the most. Right now, I'm working on, I work for Head Start for 33 years. So I'm writing a book called 30 Years in a Classroom Isn't for the Weak. I've written a book on faith. I've written a book on surviving a stroke against all odds. I'm trying to think of a, and the two that I did with Arthur Chanel to the recovery room. So I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
get back being consistent and selling my books, um inspiring. The reason why I go on these things is not because I want people to feel sorry for me, but I want to inspire people. A lot of people have been through some things. They had some storms come in their life that almost knocked the breath out of them, and they don't see any way through. But I come on here to let you know, here I am laying on my back in my
Mm-hmm.
bed, and God is still using me for his purpose. So no matter what you're going through in life, God still has a plan and a purpose for your life.
We can't hear you, Alma.
Uh,
Mhm.
and
Hello?
I'm trying to
Hello?
see.
Y'all can hear me?
I
Yes.
can hear you.
It's
Yeah, and
Alma.
I can hear
Where
her. I can hear her.
Shaquana
Mhm.
left off?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. She said
Alma,
she
we
has
can't hear
another
you.
engagement.
I don't know
But
why.
yeah, I think I did two of Elma's books. I think she really did three books with me, if I'm not mistaken. I think she did three because one was an anthology, and yeah, I think she did three books with me. If I'm yeah, you hear me, Alma?
I did about four with you.
Wow.
Can't hear you.
For
But yeah, she's a lovely woman. One her book called man, what was that book called? Divorce something. And I had to ask her because that story was so true. Like if you read that book and read her story in anthology, I had to call her and ask her, was like, is this story about you? Is this really about you? She was like, no, this not my story. But till this day, Alma, I think that story was about you because she wrote it so good. Everybody wanted that book. Everybody wanted that story. And I had to ask her, was the story real or was it, because it was unbelievable. If y'all would have read that
Wow.
book, it was unbelievable. But she and her writing skills, she writes so perfect. Like even if it's not a true story, you would think it's a true story. That's how
Mm.
good she write. That's how good she write. But
Wow.
Elma, you still can't hear?
I can hear you.
Can't hear you.
You can't
I
hear
can
me,
hear
Now
but
let
her.
I
me
can
ask
hear you.
D Elma if you can hear me and
Mm-hmm.
Nanette
yeah,
about
yeah, I can hear
y'all
you. I
writing
can hear you.
experience. What is
I
the
can't.
Yeah,
latest book that y'all have out? I think Dee told us the latest book that was out already. Or
mhm.
Dee, have you
Sorry.
writing the latest book that was out already? Told us about it?
It's I'm Every Woman is coming out in October.
Well, I
That's the latest one.
can't hear y'all either. Is it me?
It's you. It's you.
It's me?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. This was the last one
Wait a second, because I'm
through the
thinking it's
fire.
y'all.
Nope.
My earpiece on. Let me see. One second.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Hello, could y'all hear me now?
We can hear
No?
We
you.
can hear you.
You can hear
We can
me?
hear you.
Yes.
I
Can you
can't
hear
hear
me?
y'all.
Yeah,
Oh
we can hear
yes.
you.
We can hear you.
We hear you.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
You can hear me, Nana? You can hear me, D? Say something, because I can't hear y'all.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear
Can you
you.
hear us?
I can't hear y'all. I just messed up like that. What's going on? Could y'all hear me now? Y'all can hear me, but I can't hear y'all.
Right,
What the hell's
Yes.
right.
going on? Hello?
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 Yes. Hello.
I
Hello.
can't hear
Hello?
y'all. What's going on, people?
Check your headphones.
Let me take my earplugs out. Wait a minute. I can't. Default speaker. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Now I can hear. I had to put y'all on speaker. I apologize. I had to put y'all on speaker.
Oh,
So
that's
where we
okay.
left off at? Elma.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, y'all. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me. I
Oh,
thought
that's
it was
okay.
Elma I couldn't hear. I thought it was Elma. But I forgot what yeah, I was saying, did y'all hear what I was saying that Elma did write 3 books with me? Y'all heard that
Yeah, we
part.
heard all that.
Okay,
Hmm.
Elma, I think it was 3, right?
I think it was more than three because I was
Okay.
on love, marriage, and divorce. I was on rebuilding. I
Oh
think
yes.
live, life, and laughter.
Oh, okay. She right. Yeah, so it's been about like 5.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Shout out to Elma. Like I said, her stories be so unbelievable. I'm just telling y'all that. So you said you've been
Wonderful.
writing, you've been on different podcasts and stuff. How are you holding up far as your health?
I'm holding up really well. I have one more test to take to see if the radiation worked. I just did 10 weeks of radiation. So we have to see if that worked, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've um been out of my bed so far. My daughter graduated from college two
I
weeks
seen that.
ago, and I was able
Congratulations.
to. I thank you. I was able to go to her graduation and see
Oh.
her walk across the stage. Last Sunday we had a graduation party, and I was able to go to her graduation party. So
Mm.
I'm getting used to being in my wheelchair. It's just that after I get out, and for like 2 or 3 days, I'm in pain because I guess I'm not used to sitting that long. But I'm
Oh.
doing
Hmm.
fine. I'm doing
Mhm.
everything that God called me to do. Like I said, I'm teaching. I'm working on my doctorate as I teach in the Bible school. So God is really using me, and like I said, I just want to inspire people that you have your 2 arms and your 2 legs. Don't give up on your dreams. That any dream that you had that you rocked to sleep, I double dog dare you to reach inside and dare to dream again.
Mm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Wow. Now let me ask all 3 of y'all a question. I don't know what happened to Shaquana, but let me ask all 3 of y'all a question. If y'all can pick a book that y'all written,
Hmm.
which book took y'all the longest to write and why? Nana, let's start with you.
Mhm. Um, I won't say it took me the longest, but I struggled with the fact that I didn't want to write it.
You
Mm.
didn't want to write?
Um, I didn't want to write it. Um, um, I was challenged, and I'll say I was challenged by God, um, when I had cancer, I just said, well, I'm just not going to write. I'm going to focus on my health. I had already retired from my job. So I said, I'll just focus on my health and forget it, forget it, because I got to go through this stage 4 cancer, and I got to get myself together, and I got to get my family together. I got to get everybody prepared for the possibilities. I got to have things in order, because that's the type of person I am. So I don't really have time to give to the secondary. And it just kept bothering me. Something just kept saying, go back to the office, go back to the office, go back to the office. And as I kept going back to the office, I'm like, well, what am I here for? I gotta go to treatment. I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta go through this roller coaster ride. I don't know when I'm gonna feel good. I don't know when I'm gonna feel bad. I don't want to be caught in the middle of writing and not enjoying what I've always enjoyed about it. How do I do it? So in prayer, God said, well, then you need to write Managing Your Madness, because you've gone mad. You've gone crazy. So write it. You doing dumb stuff. Go. And that's how we talk. When I have my talks, it always comes back with what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What are you thinking about? So I said, well, what do you want me to do with this? You waited until I retired. I worked 25 years in a correctional facility with everybody that had everything from A to Z. And I barely had a cold. Now you wait until I have time for my family, time for myself, time to travel, time to do what I want to do. And you tell me you didn't tell me cancer. You said stage 4 cancer. It didn't stay in the colon. It moved to the lungs. It didn't stay in the lungs. It moved to the pancreas. And then you said, and have 2 hernia operations in between all of that. So what do you want me to do? And he said, write it. So I wrote it. And I wrote it in a matter of 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. It might have taken me. Wrote it, started giving it out to different people, started talking to people about the cancer, opening up to how I felt, the madness I was going through. Because I describe it as a roller coaster ride, because I don't like roller coasters. I never wanted to get on a roller coaster, because you get up to the drop and all of a sudden you're dropping and you're screaming, and I don't need all of that in my life. So it's like a roller coaster ride, because every time you go you go in to sit to hear somebody tell you what may take you out. So it's a feeling that you get, a rush that you get. You want to know, but you don't want to know. You want to be on a positive, but you don't know if it's going to be negative. So I did not enjoy it at all. So I wrote it. Well, right after the doctor told me, hey, look, we're chasing this thing because you got an aggressive cancer. We're chasing it. And we've moved it. Every time we see it, we move it. You're going to go for your last radiation treatment, and we're going to see what's up. And I told God, but we still on this. What do you want me to do with this? We still doing this. Why? I had a cancer event. I, gave out bags. I talked to people. I tried to stay away from the support groups that were negative, because their problems are more about the medical coverage than it is about the health. I talk to groups. I do all of that. What do you want me to do with this? And the answer came back, write it. So I wrote book 2, and I'm waiting to publish that one that says surviving while I'm recovering, because that's what we do. We have cancer. We try to survive, but we're still recovering, because it can come back, and you don't know when, you don't know where, and you're trying to just survive. So I written that one, and that one didn't take 3 weeks, 2 days. So I now go into the mode of, what do you want me to do? Because I had already said I wasn't doing this anymore. I'm not pushing like I used to. I don't promote like I used to. When somebody says, hey, you want to come on my podcast? I listen. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go? Do you want me to write? Do you want me to be in presence? What do you want me to do? Because obviously the journey ain't just mine. So that's
Amen.
what I.
Oh wow. So D, how long did it take you? You have a book that it took you the longest to write, and why?
Well, I think the first book that I wrote took me a
Oh, we
long
can't
time
hear
to.
you, D.
Oh,
I can hear her.
oh, okay.
I can't
So,
hear her.
I can hear her.
I
You
can
can
hear
hear
her.
her?
Yeah.
okay,
I
can you hear me
I,
now?
I can't hear her.
Oh dear.
Y'all
Really?
can
Can
hear
you
me,
hear
right?
me?
We
Y'all
can
can
I
hear
hear
can
me.
you.
hear. I can hear everyone.
Yeah.
I can hear everyone.
I just can't hear her. I don't know. But
Hold
go ahead,
on.
since everybody can hear her, I just can't hear her.
Okay. Well, my first book took me
And I
forever
know
to
she
write.
laughing. She done said something funny because I see her giggling, but I can't hear her. I can't hear her.
Oh my goodness, I feel bad. But my first book took me forever to write because I was teaching myself to write in part of that, and I was ignoring the call of that particular book for a long time until it came down to like, literally publish or perish. Where I was either going to publish it or it was going to find its way to the circular file. But I think the book that I had the most trouble writing, because I was writing and rewriting that story a million
Mhm.
times. Like you said, Nanette, to get to the end before you go back to the beginning, that's what I was doing.
Mhm.
But excuse me, I had one story in a book called Could It Be Magic? And I got to a certain point in the book and I could not write anymore. And this was a fiction
Mm.
story. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't write anymore. I couldn't figure out what was the stopper. And I realized that I was trying to get my character to do something she would never do. And
Mm.
so um, the minute I realized that, like she was supposed to get on a bus the next day and things were supposed to proceed from there. The minute I said, well, what if she doesn't get on that bus? What if this happens instead? Then I could finish the book because she wasn't supposed to get on the bus. She never would have done what I wanted her to do. And
Mhm.
so, and that took me literally a year from the time I started that till the time where I was able to actually write the rest of the story. There was a year gap in there
No.
because you just would not do anything. I'd say, okay, well, we're going to do it like this. No, that sounded
Mm-mm.
terrible. Or is it going to
Mm-mm.
do it like this? No, but it wasn't until I recognized, what the issue was with the story itself that I could resolve it and then finish the rest of the book. And that's one of the things that I really used to say to people who write fiction is if you're getting into trouble and you can't finish writing your story,
Mhm.
maybe it's not your characters that are saying it's you. You have
Mhm.
pitched something that was not logical for them to do or they would
Mhm.
never do, but it fits your story. Well, they didn't ask for that. Your characters didn't ask for their story to finish the way you want it. They're going to tell you what their story is, and then you're going
Mhm.
to write it down more or less. And when you're forcing something into your story for whatever reason,
Right.
I thought it made sense what I was doing, but no.
Mhm.
And it really made the story so much better once I figured it out.
Mhm.
The whole story, once I figured out what was wrong, the whole story changed. And it was so much better than what I imagined at first because I thought that's what my publisher would like to hear about. But
Mhm.
my characters were like, no, we are definitely not doing that. But once you figure it out, it
Mhm.
works. It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Sharnel, can you hear me now?
Chanel. Chanel.
Yeah. I hear. Y'all know what I had to do? I had to go on my phone and listen to her.
Oh Lord.
So I hear her. I don't hear her on here. I hear her on my phone.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you can hear again.
Mm-mm.
So
But that's a good story. But at least I listened to you, D.
oh yay! And
But
I wanted to say
Alma,
something
Mhm.
the
about a topic
longest
we had before, just real
that it
quick.
took you to write a book. And not in your condition,
No,
just before your condition happened. You can talk about it either or. You can't hear
Okay,
me?
well, in my, huh?
D had a question.
Oh,
D.
okay.
oh,
D had a
actually,
question.
it was not
Oh, I
really a
gotta turn
question,
it up again.
but we had a question before that I wanted to address, which I thought was really important,
Okay.
and maybe Alma can also address this as well. And that was the idea of what do you read while you're writing, right?
Mhm.
And when I'm writing fiction, I read nonfiction. And when I'm writing nonfiction, I read fiction. Because that way
Mm.
they don't clash,
Mm.
like Lynette was
Mhm.
talking about. They don't clash, and you don't find yourself writing about
Mhm.
what you are reading in your current writing. And it
Mhm.
reminds me of the first story I ever wrote, which I can't remember what I named it, didn't matter. But I woke up one day and I wrote this story about this man that he wakes up one day and he realizes that he's shrinking and all this stuff that happens to him in this
Mhm.
story. And I was telling this to my grandmother. She goes, last night we were watching this movie, The Incredible Shrinking Man. I had fallen asleep, but in my
And
dream,
wrote and thought it was your.
yep, I thought it was mine. So sometimes you really have to be
Yeah, you're
careful.
right. You're right. You're right. Hmm.
So, okay.
Okay, now I heard that, yeah. I had to listen on my phone. So now
Uh,
that Alma, what took you to
yeah.
what book, the title of the book that took you a long time to write and why?
Uh, from the waiting room to the recovery room.
Wait, that took you a
I,
long time, Alma?
it took me 10 years.
Oh, before you came to me.
Hmm.
No, before I started writing it before I came to you.
Uh-huh.
And I could never finish it. I just kept writing it over and over again and wondering why I couldn't finish it. And then that was when you were asked me had I ever published anything, and that's when we did Love, Marriage and Divorce. And when we did Love, Marriage and Divorce, I went from being a wannabe writer. I used to always say, I want to be a writer, I want to be a writer, I want to be a writer. So I read, wrote millions of things, but nothing was published. And um, so in that, after that, someone told me to write, asked me to write an article, and I was just gonna use something from the waiting room to the recovery room, but God dropped in my spirit dream killers, and He
Mm,
said the
that
reason
was
why you
good.
can't, the reason why you can't finish writing from the waiting room to the recovery room is because you have not yet recovered.
Hmm.
You're
Mm,
Hmm.
still in the waiting room. I called your name, but it was so much commotion going on in the and you weren't listening to my voice, so you kept being called from the waiting room into the back, the emergency room, but you didn't hear my voice. And
mm,
so after I did Love, Marriage and Divorce, now I vision myself as an author.
mm,
Hmm.
Like I was like, wow, I got my baby in my hands. It felt almost as exciting as when I had my son. That now I got my baby in my hands. And then after that, I began to write. You know what's so funny? That the books that I wrote after the longest book after my stroke was surviving a stroke through all odds, because I was writing it as I was going. I stayed in a nursing home for 2 years. So the 2 years that I was in a nursing home, I was still writing it because it was still occurring.
mm,
And I didn't finish that book until I made it home 3 years after my stroke.
mm,
So that's when I finished that book.
Hmm.
But all other books that I've been writing, I've been writing them rather quickly because I don't have anything else to do. I'm laying in my bed, not going nowhere. So I have all the time in the world. So people think, oh my goodness, you're using one finger. How, how are you doing it? But I don't have anything to do. So I sit home, and until it's time to teach Bible school or go to Bible college, I'm writing, and that's been
Mhm.
my out that has helped
Mhm.
me in my
Mhm.
recovery. Writing down everything going through my next after 33 years in the classroom. I'm gonna write about my cancer journey because it's
Mhm.
like right after one of my uncles was diagnosed with cancer. He was diagnosed one week and he was dead the next. Now
Mm.
I'm being diagnosed with cancer, and when I went through the stroke, God was like, it's not over, it's not over. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
God, now I'm on my back, and now I have cancer. What do you want me to do? I
Mhm.
said, so many years ago when you called me into the ministry, you said, how bad do you want it? I was like, God, have I shown you how bad I want the anointing yet?
Mhm.
Did I get
Mhm.
it yet? I still don't. How bad do I want it?
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's a blessing though that
Mhm.
you're able to still have the spirit within,
Yep.
because a lot of
Amen.
people, there's so many people that I've met along this cancer journey that I've had. I was diagnosed 8 years ago.
Mm.
And this year was the first time I told my oncologist that I got tired of taking the Tylenol and the little painkillers for the stiffness I had. I told him, listen, I've never been a pill person, and I don't want to be addicted to any particular pill when you're telling me that the cancer is not where you guys can see it. You're just monitoring me to see if it comes back. So I
Mhm.
need to know, why am I taking these pills? I'm feeling these aches and pains. And of course, being a cancer patient, I'm wondering whether the aches and pains is cancer. Is there
Mm.
something coming
Mm.
back that they didn't notice? Did they not figure this out? And he simply told me, he said, listen, some kind of way you've been blessed. He said, you got stage 4 cancer. He said, there are people that don't last 8 months with stage 4 cancer. He
Mhm.
said, and
Amen.
you're going on your ninth year.
Mm.
Wow.
He said, take the Tylenol, take the pills. He said,
Uh-huh.
take the oxycodone,
Mhm.
take whatever you need to take when you hurt.
Okay, you guys,
Just
I have
take
to
it.
go. My mother's calling me back to back to back. I need to see
Okay,
what she
Alma. Thank you
wants.
for
All
joining.
right. God bless everybody. Be
Thank you.
God
blessed.
Bye
bless you
bye.
Thank you.
too.
God bless
Good
you.
talking
Thank
to you.
you.
So,
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
so the struggle as an author
Mhm.
is to not get so caught up in, I think it's a lesson for me not to get so caught up in the dynamics of the characters,
Mhm.
to want to show so much of the depth of the
Wow.
problem that they have, but show the problem and then show the recovery of the problem. How do they
Mhm.
get out of their situations? How do their situations turn to something that would inspire other people? Because we can't constantly, we're fed all of the negative. We see
Mm-hmm.
it
Mhm.
on the TV, you
Mhm.
talk to your friends, you constantly are seeing the negative with no resolution. So my writing is more or less, let me take you as deep as I can into what's going on, and then
Mhm.
show you that there is a path to try to, take you out of it, because a lot of
Mhm.
times people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for, a way out of it. So
Mm-hmm.
having this journey has taught me, a lot. I've had people even say to me, well, you don't look like you had cancer. And I have to ask them, well, when did you study the cells of cancer?
Mm-hmm.
How does it
Mhm.
look? What does it look
Right.
like to you?
Mhm.
Because every hardship or every problem or every downfall is not worn on the face. It's
Right.
Mm-hmm.
worn in the spirit, it's worn in the heart, And if that crushes, that's when people get into depression and anxiety and overstress. You don't see it all the time. I can't walk up to you and tell when you got a headache or when your eyes didn't work today or your legs are tired, but it does not mean that you don't have a problem with it. Does not mean that you don't have arthritis. Doesn't mean that you don't have migraine headaches. You could have trouble at home with your husband. I don't know that when you get dressed and come out. We don't know what the internal problems are. So, it's just a way of a journey that we take as authors. I think should be a journey of, telling the stories, but also telling the truth behind the stories.
Yes.
We can tell, because a lot of times, have you ever read the newspaper where you wanted to know, well, what happened? They tell you all the gory stuff about what it was. The person got fired. And then you'd be like, well, what happened to the law that was changing it? Or what happened to the follow-up? What happened to all? You never get all of that. So I just think as authors, we ought to be able to give them concrete stories that help them to the end. When we finish that book, tell me the whole story. Don't, unless it's something that's going to be,
right.
a saga or a follow-up or whatever, then I'm okay. But if it's just going to be that story, don't leave me hanging with what did Jen do after that? I want to know the whole story. Tell me everything.
Now, do y'all find like writing could be therapeutic? Like in your case,
absolutely.
Nanette, do you find writing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think
What about D? I still can't hear you. Say something, D.
I was saying
Still
absolutely
can't
that I
hear
really
you.
believe it is cathartic to write
You
and
talking now,
to
D?
say that again.
I can't even hear on my phone no more.
Oh my, where'd I go? Right.
I can hear you,
Still up?
D.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear
I
her
can't.
now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear
No,
me?
I can hear you. Yeah, Nanette, but
But you
I
can't
can't
hear
hear
D.
D. And I can't even hear on my phone no more. Let me see something. Say something, D.
Hey.
Nope. I'm gonna go
Nope.
to my other page. I can't hear D. What's going on?
I don't
But I had a
know.
pleasure with y'all ladies today.
You know what I'm noticing? I'm not let
Go
me see
ahead, D.
something here.
Talk. At least they can hear you. But
Yeah, this is I've got the right audio here. So I don't know what's
No,
going
I
on
can hear
here.
you. I can hear
Yeah, and
you.
I can hear you. I can hear Sharnel also.
Yeah,
But
and I can hear Sharnel too.
I think
I can hear you
sometimes when
now, and I had
people
to go
come
to my
in
other
and
Oh,
out.
page.
she said she can hear you now.
I,
She can hear you
Oh,
now.
okay, beautiful.
yeah. So go
And
ahead, D. What you were saying?
yeah, I think writing is absolutely cathartic. And I always have my coaching clients keep a journal about what's going on for them. Write down your dreams. I mean, both the dreams you have for your life and the dreams you have at night. Um, and to really allow themselves to write. And I just had a whole writing workshop that I'm going to be repeating online. I did it in person, and now I'm going to do it online. And really, what the point was is not only to talk about how do we develop our writing, but also how do we develop as the writer, the person who is going
Mm-hmm.
to be expressing whatever it is onto paper, whether it had a fiction track and a nonfiction track, because either way, you don't write and not feel anything, not express anything, not give yourself away, not talk about who you are as a person, regardless of what you're writing. It all comes out on paper. And so when it's weird because I was rewatching a show and lately, and I recognized the point on the show, which that's the point where I got the inspiration for that to happen in this story. I remember
Mm-hmm.
watching it and saying, So your whole life is wrapped up in whatever it is you write. Even the things you watch on TV, the people that you know, everything kind of comes out in the writing. And so,
Mhm.
if that's the case, and you are writing authentically, no chat GPT here, you authentically, you're writing about your life, you're writing about the people that you know, it is very cathartic to just sit down
Mhm.
and put it on the paper, either to journal it out, to write your memoir, to write whatever it is in fiction, because all fiction is autobiographical. Um, and it is therapeutic because it even if it just gives you another vantage point on your own life and your own history and the things that you care about, they're all going to come out on the paper. So I find it very therapeutic.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now let's talk about writer's block.
Mm.
Whoever have anyone of y'all ever had writer block, and if y'all did, what did y'all do?
Okay. Well, I did
Um,
have writer's block. That was the thing that I was talking about before, where I could not finish the story because
mhm.
I had envisioned one way the story was going to go, and everything in the story said no, we're not doing that. So I think that was the issue there. Um, but I also had writer's block, I would think, for a couple of years after after I stopped writing because all the supports that I had disappeared when my agent died and my editor left the company and my grandma. I mean, everything you can think about that you don't want to happen while you're writing was happening, right? So, um, and I think that you kind of have to
Right.
not have a completely clear head, but your energy cannot be completely blocked up by other things going on outside of what you want to write and still be able to be creative. And I think that there's something about your energy that has to be right in order for you to be your most creative. And that's one of the things I talk about in that writing program that I do is get yourself, your head, your energy right in order to write.
I
Mm.
think to avoid the block, to avoid the
Mm-hmm.
block, I constantly tell people to take notes. Whatever little
Mm-hmm.
bit you get, just write that bit down. You don't have to take it any further. Just write that
Mm-hmm.
down. Then when
Right.
you come back to that bit, you'll be surprised how it expands.
Mm.
That little snippet can expand. You could do it on notepad. You could do it on and title your
Mm-hmm.
notepad. The life of so and so, and you start out with your little
Mm-hmm.
synopsis or what you think the story is going to be, and then you go
Mm-hmm.
blank. Come back to it. You come
Mm-hmm.
back to it. Well, she had this and she had that and she had this. Come back to it. If you got a paragraph, write the paragraph and then come back to it.
Mm.
But like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you have to step away sometime for
Mm-hmm.
clarity. And
Right.
sometimes the clarity is confused by what's going on around you. So if you
Mm-hmm.
just write a little snippet, little notes, I got notes everywhere. I got notes here. I got notes here.
Got
I got
notes on
I
your
got
notes.
notes everywhere. I could be driving in the car. I have to have a notepad and a pen because I don't know
Mm.
when it's gonna come back. And the bad thing for me is I said I write poetry. I do. Ask me
Mm-hmm.
to recite a poem.
Mm-mm.
I gotta go get it and read it to you. I can give you the
Mm-hmm.
expression, but I can't remember the way that I wanted to do it. So
Mm.
writer's block stops you
Mm-hmm.
from going forward, but it
Right.
doesn't
Mm-hmm.
stop you from taking notes and having little
Mm-hmm.
snippets that connect later on. So I
Mm-hmm.
found that taking the notes helps me to stay on target. Like I said,
Right.
I'm when you get got to go to work, got to go here,
Mm-hmm.
got to go there. Don't have time right now to write. Don't have time to get back to it. Where did you
Mm-hmm.
stop? Now you got to go back there. That's where you go back and read that chapter
Mm-hmm.
over again and get stuck on
Mm.
correcting instead of moving forward. Well, if you write
Mm-hmm.
little notes as you go, or
Mm-hmm.
or dictate little notes as you go of
Mm-hmm.
thoughts that you have, and then bring
Yep.
those thoughts to the pad. That way your block is a little less than it, and it's not aggravating.
I
Mm-hmm.
You can
never,
pick up the note and you know right where you are. It doesn't aggravate you so much.
I never
Okay.
thought
So
about
that's what I
taking
do for
notes.
that.
Yeah, I never thought
Mhm.
about taking notes. This is my first time. I ain't never heard any author talk about notes any either.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
take the little snippets. Like I said, I got little sticky pads. I got all kind of. And when I
Yeah.
look at it, I go, well, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Like this one says, lock mind, keys to the lock mind, grief, forgiveness. I didn't
Mhm.
write anything yet about it, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
when it's gonna come. But I got the
Mhm.
notes. I got the notes of
Mhm.
what I'm thinking is an outline or what I'm thinking. And sometimes it's a paragraph. Sometimes it's just a
Mhm.
conversation between the characters. But
Yeah.
take
Mm-hmm.
the notes. When it comes, just write it.
Mhm.
Because at that
Right.
moment, you're being creative, but you're not thinking about putting that creativity to a time. Sometimes it's the
Right.
time block that causes the writer's
Yeah.
block. I only got
Oh.
Yeah.
this amount of time to get this book done. Or I only got about this amount of time to write
Yeah.
today. Or I only got now you're stuck,
Mm.
because
Mhm.
you're thinking of the time block instead of just fluently writing. So
Yeah.
I've
Mm.
been doing the note thing for years and it
Yeah.
Oh
works.
wow.
Yeah. I'm big on
Wow.
that too. Especially when I'm starting something.
For years
Um,
and
I will open up a file within the files that I have for that
right.
book, and I will write down. I mean, sometimes whole scenes. I'll write down the whole scene of what I think is going to happen in the story. Now, it may never actually make it into the book, but I've done that and had a book 3 books later. That was
Mm-hmm.
where the scene belonged, but I still
Mm-hmm.
had that
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning piece that I keep. And anytime there's a scene, I think, oh, this is going to happen. Blah, 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 writing it down. These days, I tend to type it right in, but that also helps keep those creative juices
Keep the
going as
juices
well.
flowing.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, how do y'all we talked about writer block. I forgot my train of thought. How do y'all trying to think because I was just thinking about it when she was talking. Oh boy, come back to me, come back to me. Um mm. Oh, how do y'all write? Like most people can go to the park and write. I can't go to no park and write. I'm too nosy. I want to see. I'm nosy. I gotta look. I hear a dog barking. I want to see how close the dog is to me. I'm nosy. So, are y'all good writing at the park? Going to sit down and relax?
I don't generally I thought it, early on in my writing, I thought that going to book events, while you're waiting for the people to come to your table, introduce yourself, after you've introduced yourself and you've done all of that, while you're just waiting for sales to come, I thought that would
Mm,
be the perfect time to sit and write.
mm.
Negative, negative.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that sometimes traveling, because I travel all over, traveling
Mm-hmm.
to wherever you're going would be the
Mm-hmm.
perfect time to write. Negative. No. I
Mm.
thought that if you take the time to just go out of your element to the library to write, negative, negative.
Mm.
So I only write when the spirit hits me.
Oh.
Thus the notes, because I don't know where I'm going to be. When like I said, I got a notebook in my car. In my pocketbook, I've got plenty of little tablet, little thing, because I don't know when it's going to hit me. And it may not
Mm.
hit me full flow where I'm writing a whole chapter, but it
Right.
Mm-hmm.
may hit me where I need just a snippet of that note. Like you said, that dog coming at you. That might be a scene in one of my
Mm-hmm.
stories that the dog, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
take that little snippet and do it. But I can't sit and write a whole chapter in an area. When I want to write, I come to my office and I do full-fledged writing. But other than even writing in another part of my house, I've begun to be so comfortable in my office
Right.
that I generally will not take a pad and pen and go write unless I'm listening to someone online or I'm listening to a show that I'm taking notes from or whatever. Writing is done in my office. Notes, I might take them anywhere.
And it got to be peaceful and quiet in my house. I don't care if I'm in the office or not. I need peaceful, quiet. When everybody go out the house, I think I get my best writing on. Cause everybody be like, you ain't lonely. No, I got things to do. No, I'm happy they leave out. I'm happy that I got the house to myself. My mother used to be like, why you got the house? You happy you got the house to yourself? Yes. How often do you have the house to yourself? You understand what I'm saying? I can get my writing on. I can do what I want to do without hearing Sharnel. You understand what I'm saying? I'm happy to be alone sometimes. And that's when I get my best writing on. When it's just peace and quiet.
I love when it's peaceful and quiet, but I also love going to like a coffee shop and sitting down and writing, because there's a certain amount of energy that's around you, but it's not. And I don't mean like going to Starbucks, because there everybody's just sitting right on them. I mean more like a diner. People go in, people come out, whatever. You drink your ton of coffee, and you write. But that really only works for me if I kind of like know when I'm going in, I'm gonna write this, and that's it. But I like that also. I like the solitude where it's quiet and nobody's bugging me. But I also like that kind of energy of being out in public. Going to the park though, I don't know. That I'm never good. I haven't gone to the park or anywhere outside. But I don't see why that would not be, especially on a warm day, that might be nice. Just haven't done it.
I'm too nosy. I cannot go to no coffee shop. Every time I hear that door open, I'm turning my head looking. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. And then what's going on in today's world, you got to keep your eyes open. You understand what I'm saying? Look behind your back. It's so much stuff to do outside. Cause it's like you gotta worry about other people now these days. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm nosy. I'm gonna admit I'm nosy. When that door open up, I'm looking. So that means I gotta stop writing. To look, make sure the spot ain't getting robbed or nothing. You understand? That's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm thinking. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta observe people. You gotta observe people now. And you think I'm gonna be focusing on writing a book and I'm observing people? I can't do it.
That could be hard.
I can't. What you say?
That can be hard to try to concentrate while your head is like, what's going on? And to be honest, I have not done that in a coffee shop in a very long time. But I used to have a particular coffee shop that I used to love to go to and just sit and write. But that was actually pre-COVID that I used to do that. So that's been a while. And just sit and write. That was actually pre-COVID that I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, like Sharnel said, it's a thing where you have to pay attention to your surroundings. So paying attention to your surroundings, you really can't focus on it, because as you said that, I thought about when my children were smaller. You could take them somewhere, let them play, and you would be able to, I could write poems. I could write, little things about the children playing. But now I got to be focused on who's pushing who and whose mama done said this, and you really, it's almost like no, I can't do it that way. I have to pay
concentrate.
Attention. Yeah, you got to concentrate. And then after the job that I had, I'm more into, like Sharnel said, who coming in here to rob? I don't even, I got to be able to watch that as well, that facet. So it takes away from the creativity.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the mix of the atmosphere. It takes away from that creativity, but it also adds to the point that you still have to go to those places
Right.
and understand what's going on today in order to put that in your writing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
you still have to go to the park. You still have to go to the coffee shop. You still got to know about the hustle and bustle and what's going on when the door opens and the little bell rings to let the store owner know that somebody's coming in the door. You know,
Yeah.
those things you still have to be able to visualize and understand the feeling of what's going on with the customers inside. So it's a twofold thing. I might not be writing. I'm taking them
Your
notes.
pad.
Taking
You
the
got your
notes.
pad. You got your pad. So okay, y'all. I want to thank both of y'all for being on Let's Talk to podcast. Shaquan, I want to thank you. Elma, I want to thank you. But I want to leave with a positive note. So each one of y'all ladies can say something positive to the upcoming authors, the do's and the don'ts. To the upcoming authors, because they got to know too. And we here to lead them. So
Yeah.
let's start with you, D.
All right. I'd say do right. If you're questioning yourself, well, is this something, is it worthwhile? Yes, it's absolutely worthwhile to write whatever it is you're writing. Do you have to concern yourself with being published when you first start writing? No. I would say don't even worry about it. Really hone your craft. Read books about writing. Figure out what you have to say and keep going. And I always used to tell my writing students, develop that rhino hide, because there are going to be people who are not going to like what you write, whether it's objectively good or not. There will be people who won't like it, and if you're going to take that to heart and allow that kind of criticism to get to you, you know it's going to make your writing life so much harder. So just keep going and find out what is it you want to say, and find a place to say it if you want it published, and enjoy it.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Nana.
Um, my first line is going to be put pen to pad. Write it.
Mhm.
Stop saying I'm going to. Stop saying I'm hoping to.
Mhm.
Stop saying I'm wishing to. Well, I got to wait until I get this. No, write it.
Mhm.
Put pen to
Mm.
pad. Um,
Mm.
it doesn't have to be pen to pad. It could be computer. Put
Mhm.
whatever it is, write.
Mhm.
Before
Mhm.
you go to approach anything, write it. There's so many methods now to find out about publishing, editing. Know the components of the book. How did that author get their book done? Look up some
Mhm.
of the authors that you read about.
Mhm.
I was looking up authors that I went through all different gyras. I went through all different nationalities. I was looking at people that I didn't even know that they started in their car too. You know,
Mm.
Mhm.
there's a lot of people
Mhm.
that just assume that because they have a big name today, that they didn't have a beginning.
Nana. Mm.
And the beginning is putting pen to pad,
Mhm.
writing. You can't have a book unless you write it. So
Mhm.
if that's what you want to do, start there. Start with the writing.
Mhm.
Then you can learn about all the other components. I also
Mhm.
want to put a big emphasis on beware of who you talk to.
Mm.
Beware of who you connect to. Make sure
Mhm.
that the person you connect to doesn't have an AI page or doesn't have a component that looks like it's professional, but it's not.
Nah.
Mhm.
Ask people about them. There's a lot of people that I know in the literacy field that have no knowledge of some of those people that are on the bigger platforms. So when
Mhm.
those bigger
Mm.
platforms come to you and tell you that they've seen your work, but they don't see where it has escalated, ask them, have they been to your website? Ask them,
Mhm.
have
Mm.
they been to your book events? Ask them,
Mhm.
have they tuned in to some of your interviews? Have they heard of you other than Facebook,
Mhm.
Amazon, all of these places, they go and pick you. They see you and they pick you. But do they know you? Don't connect with the very first person that you think is a coach. Every coach ain't a coach. And just because they are a coach, you may not be able to work with them. Your personality and their personality may clash. They may not know about your gyra. They may not know why you write the way you write. They may not want you to have that freedom to write the way you write. So it's just like picking a doctor. You got to pick somebody that's going to work with you and fix you and do for you because you're paying them. Get with somebody that's going to give you the right medication, the right information, the right time, the right, I don't want a doctor that if I call him up on the phone, he tell me, well, call me back next week about 2:00 on Thursday. No, I'm not looking for that type of physician. I want somebody that's going to work with me and stay with me. I'm not looking for somebody that's going to tell me every time I talk to them, did you make your last payment? You got to have people that you can work with and that understand your plight and what's going on. The last thing I'm going to say about it is be open and not be open to other people before you're open to yourself. If you know that you don't understand certain things, be open to say you don't understand. Don't pretend that you understand, because you'll waste a lot of money pretending. You'll waste a lot of money thinking that I got it all. None of us have it all. Even the top writers, the top publishers, the top none of us has it all. We all want to be able to better ourselves as well. So don't look for somebody that they got 1 million copies. Yeah, but how much did they pay? What did they pay for that bestseller sticker that's on their book?
Yes. Yes.
What did they pay? What did they pay to get that Amazon bestseller sticker on their book?
Yes.
A lot of that is fake.
Right.
So be careful. Be careful who you connect with. Be careful who you work with. And if you don't know, start asking some people. If you're listening to this podcast, call Sharnel and ask. Believe me, if Sharnel don't know, Sharnel will call me. If I don't know, I'll call Sharnel. If I don't call Sharnel, I'll call somebody. All of us have people that we call. Hey, you ever heard of this? Did you see what they doing about that? Because we're all in the same thing. So if you knew coming on board, you got to make connections. You can't be that I'm going to do it all by myself because I don't see where they do. You can't be that way because you got to come through the same route we came through. You got to get knocked down the same times that we got knocked down.
That's
so please, please, please pay attention, but put pen to pad first. Put pen to pad first.
That's right. That's right.
Completely agree.
And I want to thank everyone for being a guest on my show. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all, ladies. And I want to thank those who tuned in and those who going to watch the replay. So I want to thank y'all. I hope y'all walked away with some gems about writing. Y'all new authors. I hope y'all paid attention. And like Nanette said, I hope y'all had y'all pads and y'all pencil ready and y'all was taking notes. So on that half, I want to thank everybody, even my special guests, for joining us. And we're going to talk soon, y'all. Thank y'all, ladies, so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you again, Sharnel. It was great meeting you, Nanette.
Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk 2 podcast with author Sharnel Williams. Tune in next time every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to live, laugh, and love.